Hey, Lee Robinson here at American Sentinel Canine. Just had a long conversation with a guy that we were talking about tactics, and I tried to explain to him several of my perspectives, and it seemed like I was almost having an uphill battle, no offense intended to the person if he's on my Patreon, that to explain. He kept talking about phenotype and how it dictates or drives your selection process, and I was like, no. Phenotype does not drive my selection process. My selection process is based off of two criteria, performance and pedigree. And the reason why I say pedigree is because I want to see if the littermates and the parents and the siblings and the grandparents, etc., also have the same performance. I'm looking in the pedigree to see if there's a consistency of performance within that pedigree. Does the individual perform, and do the individuals in the pedigree perform? Because that shows to a high frequency of those traits. And this is important when you're breeding. Now, with that said, when it comes to protecting your family, the goal is to produce a family companion guardian. I'm not interested in sports. Now, we also talked a little bit about tactics. He's witnessed a conversation that I had on one of the groups about tactics and how breeding dogs and training dogs to have good tactical approach results in a superior tactical animal. Now, I need to clarify, there's two different types of tactics as well. There's mental tactics and there's physical tactics. So mental tactics have to do with the mindset, and physical tactics have to do with the skill set. Now, while the training world in sports addresses the skill set and tactics component of dog training, sports do not address the mental tactics in terms of reality for personal protection. So what do I mean by that? You might think, well, sports do measure the mental aspect because they're looking for the dog's willingness to remain engaged. And while that's true, they don't assess the willingness of the dog to kill the opponent, the willingness to play without following the rules. See, in sports there are always rules. There's a lot of dogs that go through the motions physically that never went through the motions mentally. And what I mean by that is, let's say you take George St. Pierre or any of the greatest MMA fighters ever. I don't care who they are. Brock Lesnar, a super powerful beast with decent skills, excellent wrestler. George St. Pierre with huge tactical skills. If you were to bet against me and him in a fight, if he and I both knew that we were going to have a fight, 99.999% of the people in the world would bet on him to win. I'm betting on me. Because if it was going to fight, that means we have to fight. That means loser's going to get hurt, loser's going to lose, loser's going to be in big trouble. Guess what? I'm not doing that. So that means I'm going to fight dirty. I'm going to show up with a shotgun and shoot right in his freaking face. Because it's not going to be about physical skills. I'm not going to fight his fight. I want to fight my fight. And my fight is going to be win. Period. Because do what you got to do to win. See, because if he puts me in an arm bar and I've been taught the skills to go to the neck, or the skills, let's say shooting a gun, good trigger control, good ability to reload a magazine, etc. These are all skills that are important, but none of them are as important as the mental aspect of being willing to do what you have to do to win. And if that means showing up at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. when your opposition is asleep and taking them out of the game, then that's what you do. And that's what a good dog should do. A good dog doesn't think about, oh, do I target the arm, or do I target the leg, or do I target the bicep or the tricep or the neck. No, because if you're in an arm bar, you can't target the neck. A good dog that's been taught to target the neck is now trapped when it's in an arm bar type of situation. You have to be willing to reach through the arm bar with your offhand and grab the testicles and pop them. So you have to be willing to play dirty. And that's what I mean by that. So you have to be willing to say, look, if we are in a situation that's without rule of law, and that's what protection is about, because a criminal does not follow the rule of law. So if you're in a situation where there is no rule of law and you want to come out okay, you have to be willing to do what you have to do to win. And this is what a protection dog has to be. So it has to do with the tactics of the mind, not with the tactics of training and conditioning. And even though training and conditioning matter extensively They matter in the aspect of developing the mindset, not necessarily in the aspect of developing the physical attributes that have to do with skill set. The mindset needs to be center mass, direct engagement. If there's any regrets, we'll deal with that tomorrow, because right now I'm coming to kill you. All right? And then it's the handler's job to stop the dog when the opposition is no longer a threat. Because you don't want to kill somebody once the threat is stopped. Okay? You just want to stop the threat. But sometimes a person with a gun can kill you after they're dead. This is something that I love the Thunder Ranch video. He says a person with a gun can kill you after you killed them, because you can shoot them in the chest and they can be guaranteed to die in 10 or 15 seconds. But if they have a gun, they can still shoot you before they're dead. So you have to, like, why'd you shoot him in the face? Because it was a threat to me. That's why. He was a threat to me. He had a gun in his hand. Why'd you shoot him 5 times? Because he was a threat to me. That's why. And he was moving, and he was a threat to me. That's why. So the dog needs to have that same mindset of engage, stop this person, kill him, whatever you do what you got to do to win. And then the handler does what they have to do to stop the dog when the threat is no longer a threat. So it's all about the mind. Y'all have a blessed day. I hope you learned something. You know, if you want to do sports to learn skills, that's great. But most importantly, always make sure that your dog's mind is willing to break the rules if it has to break the rules to win. Y'all have a blessed day.